I was slightly concerned that my Wi-Fi was not working. But it 100% is because we're talking to each other.
Oh yeah, I was going to say. It's kind of like when you're driving to work and you're like, did I forget my keys? Oh.
I did that when I was driving. I was like, I started patting my pockets. Where are my car keys? And I'm literally in my car. The most ridiculous. Hold on. I'll be right back.
All right.
God, I'm loud.
We know. There we go. That'll actually fix it. Oh, thank God you're back. I'm about to extend our timer if you're not ready yet.
I hope you couldn't hear my expletives from the other room.
I could not.
Because these microphones like to pick up everything. Alright. Hush, dog. Ain't nobody here for you. Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. They're coming to see the Temptations.
Steven,
Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis.
They're coming to see the. What are you talking about?
You've never seen that?
No. It sounds like the shit my dad used to do every time before I would leave for school. Like when I lived with him for senior year, every time I would like try to leave the house for school, he'd like stop me at the door and be like, "All right, there's a bunch of fans out there waiting on you. Okay, it's gonna be a long day. A lot of people are gonna be following you. You're famous. All right, so just be careful." Like that shit up.
All right, we're good. I had to get my, double screen action, but it's not like a monitor, it's an iPad. But Hello, dog. All right, we can start whenever you're ready, bro.
All right, well, you know what? Let me update the countdown.
The folks are
26, baby.
shivering with anticipation.
Oh boy, the time has come. And here's the light bulb animation, baby. Oh, wrong button. We don't have that this week. There we go.
What's up, folks? So, Daryl.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Arizona State's mascot?
Sparky something, right? Sparky?
Yeah, it's Sparky.
Sparky the Sun
person
Devil.
in the costume, his name is Sparky. So news has come out this week that Arizona State assistants were giving tips to their opponents to get Herm Edwards fired.
This is true.
So you think they were giving them the Sparky notes?
Come on, man. Too soon. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the Hashbrowns and Hashmarks podcast, whatever you want to call this show. I am Colin the Police, and this is my co-host, By Curious George. We are here to bring you the latest in college football and all the exciting things, including, yes, that terrible news. We'll get back to this, the results of this in a moment. But yeah, apparently, according to a very reputable source, Arizona State staff were trying to get leak information to help opponents to get Herm Edwards, their head coach, fired. On a scale of 1 to 10, how fucked up is this?
He got fired in the end zone on the field after the game.
Yeah, that news is out there. There was a really uncomfortable video somewhere of that happening. I saw it. I was like, oh man, this is like. And they didn't let this man get to the locker room. They didn't tell him, okay, you go talk to the players real quick. They didn't tell him nothing. They said, hey man, the door's right there, chief. We gotta go. We can't have you here a second more.
Hey man. But Steven says he's curious about the Skillet. We will get to that.
We will get to that. Well, we talk about this every year, Steven, and I feel like we have this exact same conversation every single year.
We do. But it's of all the trophies that they play for in college football, this is my favorite. I don't know if it's the best, but it's my favorite.
It's pretty memorable. It's a pretty notable one.
It is. Daryl, we talk college football on this show.
No way.
But I would like to make you aware of an NFL player.
Okay.
Whose name that I learned this week. And I think it's the best name in the NFL. Okay. He plays for the Las Vegas Raiders. Mm-hmm. And his legal government name on his birth certificate is Divine Diablo.
Wow.
Not kidding.
With a name like that, like his parents have confidence. They believed in this kid the day he was born, unless he changed his name. But I assume no one names themselves that.
No. His real name is Divine Diablo. There's been some great NFL names in the history. Yeah. Like Champ and Boss Bailey. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
we all remember Champ Bailey.
I still really appreciate the audacity of Chad. I don't remember his old name, but Chad Ochocinco renaming him. Was it Chad
Johnson?
Johnson. I'm gonna say it was just Johnson.
Chad Johnson.
Yeah. Changing his name, to really committing to the bit. You gotta appreciate that on some XFL level stuff.
He hate me.
He hate me. That was a good idea. If the XFL does come back,
a good idea.
Yeah, The Rock owns it. I mean, if it's possible, it could come back. But if that does happen, I really hope that feature comes back with it too. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but there's great names. Mm-hmm. The guy, because I saw on TikTok, the guy was doing like best NFL names list, and his tight end was Pharaoh Brown, which is a great name. Pharaoh Brown is a great name. But I was like, Peyton Hendershot was right there. Mm-hmm. And I only know who Peyton Hendershot is because I remember him from college and he plays for the Cowboys. But
yeah. There's some good names out there, man. Like, we talked about General Duck. What was that guy's name? General Booty?
General Booty.
General Booty is one of them.
Oklahoma backup QB.
Who's the guy that's at Arkansas that's been there for like...
Bumper Pool.
Yeah, he's like a 39-year-old man. He's been there for like 10 years, it seems like. Yeah. Bumper Pool.
That's a great name.
The coldest, of course, is out there.
Demon Clowney at Ole Miss. Cousins of Jadeveon Clowney.
General Booty is still got to be top tier.
That's the best name in college football.
Absolutely.
Cousins of John David Booty, former USC quarterback.
I didn't realize that, actually.
Was quarterback of USC in 2007 when Stanford upset them. And speaking of 2007, I would like to let you know that the University of Kansas Jayhawks are 3-0
and have beaten like
in football, and they've beaten like 2 ranked teams.
They've beaten
on the road.
Well, so actually, that's actually
I don't know if they were ranked, but they were ranked. But they won 2 road games.
So that is actually a very good transition. So believe it or not, Spencer, we had a pretty even week this week between the two of us. Our picks. I went of the 8 games we picked. I went 6-2. You went 5-3. So it's pretty close. And one of the ones that you got that I didn't, of course, LSU stepped up. Mississippi State let us down, both of us. But LSU...
I mean, they didn't let me down because they lost to my team, but I picked them for the show.
Yeah, same here. So obviously LSU picked up that win. I picked Maryland over SMU, and so that did work out for me. You picked SMU, which, by the way, they got a big game this weekend for the Skillet, to your point. But yeah, the big game for me was the fact that U of H got beat by Kansas. Now, I knew U of H was struggling. I knew they weren't living up to the expectations that the offseason had sort of put on them. But I thought, you know what, hey, BYU is a pretty good team. That was a tough matchup for them. Obviously, Texas Tech did not go the way that they expected. Man, they're in trouble now after losing to Kansas. I don't know if Kansas is on that same level, but
they were Houston was fighting each other on the sideline. I'm like, yeah, I guess this is what losing to Kansas football does to a team.
Yes, exactly. But you go into that one if you're a big time school, if you're a typically ranked program, yeah, you go and think you're going to beat a team like Kansas. But the Jayhawks are saying, nah, we're like Kentucky now. You have to take us seriously. Like, it's not just basketball.
We need to talk about the fact that there's games going on tonight. But so as of right now, Kentucky, Duke, North Carolina, Kansas, Syracuse, Indiana, and I think one other basketball school are undefeated
It's a different, and that's why the title of this show this week is the year of the scrub. Like it might be the year of the scrub. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know if you saw any of it last week, but Purdue and Syracuse put on such a good game.
That game was a monster.
Hey, and let me tell you something. The Orange looked good down the stretch. That game was. I think it was
Syracuse is like
Syracuse.
People aren't really looking at Syracuse. Syracuse might make noise in the ACC.
Absolutely.
I swear.
No, Syracuse looked good, and they crowd was out there. They were feeling good. It was a very good game. And look, man, the score. It was such a crazy thing because the score of that game going into the half was like 9-10. It was something ridiculously low. Defensive struggle. Looked like an Iowa game, right? All of a sudden, the third quarter things picked up a little bit. I think both teams scored, but the fourth quarter, a total of 43 points of that game was scored in the fourth quarter. It was insane.
Crazy.
I think there was a kick return, I believe. There was a pick six. Like all the things that could happen did happen in the fourth quarter, and the game ended on Syracuse with a last second. It was like 10 seconds left on the clock. A long pass to the end zone got him in. It was like a 30-yard pass, but man, it was incredible. And I think they could have settled for the field goal if I remember correctly. I could be wrong, but yeah, pass to the end zone, back left corner, got it. It was incredible. What a fun game.
Yeah, there was so many good games. App State and Troy, best game of the weekend.
Yeah, just put on a show.
Look, we were kind of tripping, like we obviously wanted A&M to beat App State. And
well,
so
App State scrappy as hell this year,
So game day would go to A&M in Miami. But I am so happy. I have never been more happy about a team that I enjoy losing to getting upset like that. The atmosphere, the environment, everything about game day in Boone and everything about that game was perfect.
Absolutely.
College game, please keep doing this because you will have the turnout like you had in Boone this past weekend. And it will be great, which is why you should have gone to Kansas and Duke this weekend, but they go to Tennessee for Tennessee and Florida. But y'all should have been at Kansas and Duke.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you. I think that was a big missed opportunity. I knew
they wouldn't go.
I do want to show
the schedule, and it was like Wake Forest, Clemson, Tennessee, and Florida. So.
I do want to show, in case anybody missed it, how this App State game and with Troy ended. It was 26-28. They're down to, the clock has expired now, and they're on their own 40. This is a 60-yard pass that comes up at a good 5 yards short of the end zone. Some guy, you pick it up almost like a designed little run around the right side there, and they win on a Hail Mary. It was incredible. Definitely not something that you see every day. A lot of fun though, and like you say, just a perfect way to cap off what was obviously a very fun day, because App State does not have game day every year. This is not a school that is going to. It's like that one time game day went to North Dakota State for that big rivalry game between.
It was South. They went to South.
Yeah, they went to South. Right.
Because that was Pat McAfee was guest picker, and he had that sleeveless hoodie on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And that's
also, South Dakota State's mascot, the Jackrabbit.
The Jackrabbit.
That's a great mascot.
Oh yeah, but no, it was a hell of a good time. It was a very, very good weekend of college football last week.
Luke Combs, celebrity guest picker, was phenomenal. Pat McAfee, I'm so glad Pat is on the show.
He brings a level of
back.
energy that I think that they really needed. Because obviously, not that the show's gone stale, because it's still obviously a huge draw. Everybody watches game day if you're into college football, but to bring him just brings a sort of level of life. It's going to bring the casual viewer back. It's going to bring a lot of things, and I think you honestly,
there's probably going to be people who are sports fans, know who Pat McAfee is, but they may not watch game day.
Yep.
But they WWE fans, they watch him on SmackDown and they watch his show. And they're like, he's not going to be on SmackDown. Let me go watch this other thing he's doing. And it's going to get more eyes on game day.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of the importance I think he has been to sports and to, sports entertainment, I guess, I think has just been fantastic. Because the way he's able to bridge the gap. And I watch his show a lot. Like, he talks about a lot of WWE stuff during the show. Doesn't have to do that. It's his show. He can do whatever he wants. He brings that over. I think he brings a level of continuity to, I think, NFL wrestling and now college football. I think honestly he's just good for business all around. I think he's money right now. Who knows what it'll look like in 10 years, but for right now.
I think he's going to be king of the mountain in 10 years.
Yeah.
If he keeps doing what he's doing, he'll be up there. I want him to replace Corso when Corso's done.
That's what everybody wants, So we'll see what happens.
Who else is it going to be? Like it can't either.
Well, and
Corso
nobody really fits
retires, that bill. Either they're not going to do the headgear picks anymore, which is going to be very sad, or they're going to give it to Pat, which they definitely should.
I think it would work out just fine because he has the charisma for it, and that's what Corso's always been good for. Everybody else is smart; they make good picks, but Corso's always known how to work the crowd. He's always known how to like make you think he's going to pick one way and then certain swerve things the other way. He's always been the biggest character on the show. They need that again to fill that spot. Pat McAfee, I think, is who they're wanting to groom for it. But he's so busy,
And
who knows if he's
got-
going to want to stay with it, you know?
Yeah, and he's got like he's a talker, like, and if you're gonna work for the WWE, you got to be a good talker, like.
Oh yeah.
So I want Pat and Enzo Amore same room together.
I don't remember anything about Enzo Amore. It's been so long since I've watched that dude.
Enzo was the best. He was one of the best talkers. The fact that WWE let him, I mean, I think he got in like some outside the ring trouble.
Yeah, I think he didn't take care of his business or something along those lines, but.
Yeah, but
don't be surprised if they bring him back one day.
He'll be back.
But yeah, so last week the results were as follows. We were right about A&M, but both of us picked A&M to go over Miami, which was in fact a pretty good game. Very, very defensive. A&M fans, I think, still were a little bit unsure, but Max Johnson looked more comfortable in that offense. OU kept on rolling. Penn State looked very, very good against Auburn.
OU beat the brakes off of Nebraska.
People
were like, I could see Nebraska winning this game.
No.
Like, this is a trap game for OU. Absolutely not.
No.
OU beat the brakes off Nebraska, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah, big cap. But no, they looked very good. Penn State obviously looked very good against Auburn, which actually I was a little bit surprised. I knew Auburn was struggling this year. I knew this is going to be kind of a down year. They're trying to find their identity.
There was one team in the West I didn't know about, and they're...
The only thing I saw about that game, I don't know if you saw, there was a highlight of Sean Clifford just getting absolutely steamrolled.
Smacked.
I mean, and fumbled and everything. When I saw that play out of context, I said, oh, damn. I said, well, Auburn's probably up like, 14-3 right now. Like, they look like they're dominating. Nope. That game ended up being extremely one-sided. Sean Clifford came back.
41-12, I think, was the last score.
So Penn State's got the juice. U of H, obviously, is got a lot of season left, but not the start they wanted it by any means. Kansas looked great. USC top. I forgot who USC played, but they topped somebody. And then we had Oregon and BYU.
Stanford?
I think they played Stanford, yeah, and that was another one that was supposed to be a trap game, but did not actually turn out that way. And then of course we had Oregon and BYU. Which you took BYU in this one. I took the Ducks. I
thought they were better.
Hey, listen, Bo Nix is good. He is not great. He has not beat Georgia great. He's not beat Bama great. He's not beat some of these top tier teams great. But he's definitely good, right?
Oregon beating the pants off of BYU just shows me how fucking scary Georgia is.
Yes, and
because we're talking about a team that just smacked somebody else,
and how trash
they got smacked
U of H might be.
49-3.
Yeah,
like
yeah, exactly, man. So
it's like.
So I'm pretty sold that Oregon is a good team this year, and I'm pretty sold. If there's anything that game taught me, just the whole transitive who's played who type thing. I think the U of H was wildly overrated going into the year, and I think Georgia is going to be unstoppable this year. It's just, can they find the same identity on defense they had last year? And I think they will, because it's so early in the year. They're going to develop. They're only going to get better. Georgia's obviously going to be the team to beat in the East, and I think they're the team to beat. Period. Especially after the way Alabama looked against Texas. So,
spoiler alert: I don't think anybody's beating Georgia.
I don't think so either. We said this last year. We said this last year, but they look scary in a different way now. Like last year, they were just like you can't do anything against them, and now you're just like you can't do anything to stop them.
And you normally want to be like, oh, it's Georgia. They'll find a way to mess this up. This is a different Georgia.
It's very. This
Georgia's different.
It's very different, and you don't see any cracks in the armor. Who knows? Something may change down the line, but I don't see it right now. But yeah. So, anyways, our scores. So yeah, currently for the season, I'm at a 78% win percentage. Spencer, you're at 48%. I am 18-5 on picks. You're 11-12. So you're getting back to 50. And then also you picked the upset with Kansas, so you actually got 2 points for winning that game. So that got you back up.
Hell yeah!
So you're inching closer to a positive score.
Bro,
so
I saw some like Heisman, like early, like way too early Heisman stuff. That quarterback for Kansas was on some lists, and I was like,
son of a gun's good. Son of a gun's good. He's secure at the ball. He's fast. He's dual threat. I like that. I can't remember his name ever, but I saw some highlights.
I don't know his name either.
Kid's good.
I know where's number 6. That's about all I know.
Yeah, no, the kid's good. But yeah, man, let's pick some games.
Scott Frost got fired.
Scott Frost did get fired. I also have one more bit of news. I thought this was interesting and worth sharing. Let me pull up the.
Did we talk about Scott Frost getting fired last week?
We did.
We did.
Very briefly, but there's not much to say. Like, it's just kind of sad.
I don't know who Nebraska's next head coach should be, but I think they're looking at old boy from Iowa State.
Let me read you a headline, Spencer. This is per Bleacher Report. A Utah student was arrested Wednesday after police said she threatened to detonate a nuclear reactor if Utah's football team lost to San Diego State. Arrested.
I saw this. I was going to bring this up. This is the most hilarious shit I've ever heard in my life.
Well, listen, man, it's one thing to get arrested. I'm sure that it was just like I don't know. People have been arrested and nothing has really come of it. I'm sure nothing really came of this. I'm sure they just like, hey, don't say that shit and let us enter on our way. No. But at the same time, the specificity of detonate a nuclear reactor over a potential lose.
Are there nuclear reactors in Utah?
Are you right? That was my question. I was like, why specifically that? Like, you're gonna have to travel. You're gonna do some traveling to make this happen, right? Like, I don't know.
But she said she was gonna do it on campus.
I guess she's gonna haul in a small nuclear reactor.
What do y'all got going? I know every university's got a science department. Y'all got nuclear reactors.
Hey, you think she was like a chemical engineering major, and she was like, I know how to make a bomb. Actually, do you think that's what happened? And someone was like, this bitch is crazy. Called the police on her, arrested her, gave her a little slap.
That's not the first time. This story isn't college football related, but in New Orleans, there's a restaurant called Billy's Chicken Shack. It's like a Cane's, Zaxby's-esque type of place. It's not the best, but like we have a saying around my house that like if you eat some food that's just like nourishment, like that'll make a turd. But anyway, Willie's is okay, but like it's like you're on Canal Street, you're on Bourbon Street, so you're probably drunk when you're eating it.
Oh sure.
This guy was in there and said he was gonna go blow up the bathroom, which would like you do. But they misinterpreted that and thought he had a bomb, so they arrested him.
Listen, man, you can't take any. There's no way to like be too sure nowadays. You know what I mean? Like, that's so funny that we have to take things like. It's so funny and sad that we have to take things like that seriously nowadays.
Yeah,
but
like, if you've been watching the show for a while, or if you know us, you know that we play Magic the Gathering. I follow a bunch of Magic personalities on Twitter. Every time they go to the airport, you'll pick up a deck box, but it'll be Magic cards stacked like this, and you can't see what this is through a thing. And I've heard horror stories of people. One time they had like 100 card decks, and
it did not look correct.
They went through every card.
Yeah,
just to be sure.
Oh, I bet they did.
And then some people will get like 5 or 6 players like in a big city for a tournament. And they'd be like, Magic cards? Yeah, zip it back up. There you go.
Hey, man, I'm telling you, TSA does not fuck around. They really don't. Shit. And see, I didn't realize because I haven't been flying. I have not flown a lot in my life until recently because Callie and I have been doing a lot of traveling to Colorado, Wyoming, Montana. So, like, we've been doing a lot of flights. And I've always been kind of skeezed out by the whole flight process, like just getting on a plane in general. I've gotten better, but initially it was kind of a sketchy thing for me. But on top of that, also like being in a giant crowd and having to go through TSA and they make you take your shoes off and your hat off and everything out of your pockets. Like it is what it is. Like obviously it's a safety thing, but man, it is one of the most stressful.
Put your hat and your jacket in your backpack.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it in your backpack. Carry your laptop in your hand. Slides and socks.
Yep.
That's it.
Slides do make it easier, I will say that.
Slides and socks. Always wear socks because if that's a airport floor, you don't know who's been stepping in what. Slides and socks.
Yeah.
You can throw them socks away if you want to. Slides and socks.
Exactly. Yeah. So TSA don't fuck around, but that's really funny to know that.
You know what else doesn't fuck around? We don't about college football. Let's talk about some games.
Put it on a shirt. Hell of a transition. Tell them about the Skillet while I pull things up.
For those of you that don't know, it is Skillet Week 2022. Battle for the Iron Skillet between TCU, Texas Christian University, and SMU, Southern Methodist University. These are rivals of proximity. TCU is in Fort Worth, SMU is in Dallas. About 45 minutes from each other. These are also private religious institutions. And they've been playing since like the early 1900s. But they got this rivalry back in 1946. SMU's the Mustangs, TCU's the Horned Frogs. Back in 1946, they wanted to come up with a trophy to play back and forth, and it is alleged that there was a tailgater. In the tailgate, he was an SMU fan, and he was frying frog leg in a cast iron skillet. Which one is beautiful marketing, two hilarious. And a TCU fan walked up to him, "Hey man, that's not right. You can't do that." And the SMU fan was like, "All right, cool. Whoever wins keeps the frog legs and the skillet." And I don't remember who ended up winning the game, but they've been playing for the skillet ever since.
That's right, and that's just tradition, man. That's what makes college football special. It is the tradition.
It is my favorite trophy that is played for in college football. This skillet needs some serious seasoning.
Yes, it does.
It needs to be seasoned.
You're really not cooking in it anytime soon, but it is there. It is a trophy. It does have a plaque on it and everything. But yeah, 1905, is that what the year was?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's my favorite trophy. It's just cool as hell.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want to be taking that through TSA either, that particular skillet. Brian says, plot twist, the TSA agent just really wanted to see their magic collection. Yeah, that could be it, man. Maybe the TSA agent just really wanted to check and see what cards you had on file there. But yeah, man, so the games this week, we will be picking that one. That would be our featured.
Oh, they wanted to judge your commander decks. Oh, he plays Boros. What is this?
what a scrub. I can't believe him. We will pick the SMU. We'll pick the Iron Skillet game last. That'll be our main event sort of pick. But we'll start out with Oregon State and USC, which is the hang on, let me just pull a correct game up here. This is apparently, and this seems to be a theme with USC, but this is apparently a trap game. But this
Beavers are good this year.
The Beavers are 3-0 this year, and they're going to be they're 6-point dogs at home against USC.
The game's in Corvallis.
The game, and it's at 8:30, so this is going to be a night game. It's 8:30 for us. It's it's a night game for them. But
Pac-12 after dark, baby. Let's get it.
It's to be an after dark type beat game. USC.
Well, it starts at 6:30. That's not really after dark.
Yeah. But it is. But you get the idea. It's going to be a night game. This is a 3-0 Oregon State team. This is one of those, early fall games. It's going to be sold out. The Beavers fans are going to be there feeling really, really good. Like I say, 6-point dogs at home, man. What are you doing with this one?
So if you've watched this show for any amount of time, you know what's coming.
Yes, I do.
So USC, you're in Los Angeles. You got the like I said this like 2 weeks ago. Got one of the best coaching hires. You got Caleb Williams. You got Jordan Addison. You got playmakers all over the field. You can throw it all over the yard, run it all over the yard, do whatever you. Oregon State, classic. I don't really know nothing about Oregon State. I just know they're good this year. They're 3-0 right now. They got to win over
Boise. They got to win over Boise, Fresno State, and another jobber here. Who is this? Montana State.
Montana State went to the FCS playoffs last year.
Yeah, so I say that. I just mean like there's no like Power 5.
These weren't scrubs they played against.
Exactly. These are quality opponents. And you can look at USC's schedule and pick it apart too, because they beat Fresno State, Stanford, and Rice. Stanford's the only one that's really super duper of note. It was at Stanford for what it's worth.
You can make the argument that Oregon State right now has a stronger wins than
right. You could potentially do that, and
games in Corvallis. It's going to be late night. Game's probably sold out. They're going to pack the place out. I'm wondering who's Brian's cheering for, because he's a Ducks fan. So who do you hate more, the Beavers or USC? Anyway,
he wants both teams to lose.
Yeah,
he hopes both teams get caught in TSA. Can't get on the plane.
Everything in my soul, and anybody who knows anything about me watching this show knows I'm probably about to say Oregon State, but I'm not. Give me the Trojans. I just think they're too good.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think they're too talented. I think that they have a good thing going on over there right now. Obviously,
I want the Beavers. I will be cheering for the Beavers.
Well,
in real life, but for the show, I'm taking USC.
I do think that I think the 6-point spread is accurate. I think this is going to be a one-possession game. I think it's going to come down to turnovers.
Game's going to be close, but USC wins.
I think USC gets up to gets out to a hot start. I think they stay ahead the entire game, but I think Oregon State closes it down the stretch, and USC just makes one too many good plays. Give me the Trojans.
It's going to be one of those ones where like Oregon State's down the whole game, close the gap. You get within one score. And then you're on that final drive, QB throws a pick. Running back fumbles the ball.
Something along those lines.
Defense sacks the quarterback like 3 times in a row. It's going to be that type of deal. But, like, Corvallis might be rocking. Also, what a name for a city, Corvallis.
Corvallis is a great name for a city. But,
it is Corvallis, right, Brian? Are they in Beaverton? You would think the Beavers would be in Beaverton, but I think they're in Corvallis.
Let's find out. You kept saying that with so much confidence that I just sort of agreed, but let me see. Now I'm now curious.
Don't look it up. I want to be right.
You are right. It is Corvallis.
Okay, I thought so.
Sticking with that state, however, not in actually that state. This is going to be the Ducks. Oregon going to visit Washington State. Both teams 3-0. The reason this is in here is because Washington State, same situation, 6.5-point dogs at home. Oregon is obviously favored here.
Washington State also undefeated. Look at Wazoo, man.
Washington State and quietly playing very, very good defense right now. They beat Colorado State. They beat Wisconsin, who was number 19, 2 weeks ago in a very close one, 17-14 affair. They're not doing anything insane on offense, but their defense is keeping them in everything. Obviously, we saw what Bo Nix was able to do against the pretty scrappy BYU offense. So, yeah, man, what do you think? This is going to be an away game, obviously, but it's going to be a 3 o'clock Central Time. So it'll be, 1 for them, I guess? 1 o'clock afternoon game.
Early game. They're being Pullman. Pullman is damn near in Canada. Like, I'm not even kidding.
Yes,
it's that far north. Mm-hmm. And also Pullman, Washington State University and the University of Idaho are each other. I don't know if you knew that.
Didn't know that. It's gonna be 70 degrees at kickoff, and still, it's gonna be perfect weather for that game.
Perfect. I don't know anything about this Washington State team. I don't. Because I don't really follow the Pac-12 that much unless it's like Oregon or USC. Mm-hmm. But I just think, we saw Oregon just beat the pants off of BYU. Again, I think this is going to be like, the Pac-12 is weird because sometimes the Pac-12 is like the Big 12. It's like run up the score, throw it all over the yard, run all these crazy stuff. And sometimes it's like very defensive games. And Washington State's playing really good defense right now. But I think Oregon's offense is going to be much. Give me the Ducks.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take the Ducks as well here. I'll tell you this, Washington State, their quarterback, what's his first name? I always see the last name. What's his name? Cameron Ward. Obviously, he's moving the ball very, very well. He's got like 700 yards of offense.
Why does that name sound? Did he transfer from somewhere?
I think he did, but he's turning over the ball a lot. 8 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. I think that this Ducks defense is better than people are giving it credit for. Give me the Ducks. Give me the Ducks big. I think they cover, but I thought it was worth mentioning this game because Brian's watching the show and because the thing about Oregon, man, and this is something I'll say. The same thing about A&M losing to App State so early. A funny little thing happens whenever you have a devastating loss early in the year. The year keeps going. You have to keep playing games. You have to keep showing up. You go back to practice every single week. Things change. The team you get in the product you see as a fan week 1 versus the product of the team you see in week 7, 8, 9, 10. Very, very different story. So the season is long. Oregon's still has a great year ahead of them, especially if your only loss is to Georgia. Don't count them out of anything. I'm big on the Ducks. Give me the Ducks in this one.
Like Kirk Herbstreit said, they got blown out by Georgia, but we forgot Oregon still plays football.
Yes, they do. They got to keep going, man.
Oregon still plays football.
It's easy. It's easy to tap out whenever you get rolled over like that. But what's his face? He's got them boys looking good. I always forget his name. Dan Lanning. Yeah, he's got them boys looking good. All right. Who's the guy that sings the I Hate Alabama song? I can't always forget his name.
Connor Smith.
All right, the Connor Smith Bowl this week. We got number 20, the Florida Gators going to visit the Vols. They're going to be in Neyland. It is a 2:30 CBS kickoff time. Obviously, Tennessee is looking spectacular on offense right now. The Gators kind of still figuring things out. What's his name? Anthony Richardson looked fantastic.
Tennessee is undefeated, correct?
Tennessee is undefeated. Anthony Richardson looked phenomenal week 1 against Utah, but ever since he's been, he's kind of
shit the bucket.
Yeah, he got off to that hot start and he kind of reminds me of Kenny Hill. Remember Kenny Hill whenever it's his first week?
I was about to bring it up. He had that game in 2013 against South Carolina.
Incredible game, record-setting game, and then just kind of teetered out the rest of the year. Nothing really going with Florida. Their defense obviously is still doing very, very well. But man, Tennessee.
In that same vein, Anthony Richardson, future TCU transfer quarterback, come and book it.
Now the only thing about Tennessee here, and this is what I want to keep, everybody sort of humble here. They are 10-point favorites at home. Florida is the dog here, but I will say this: their only sort of quality opponent was Pitt, and we saw Pitt has been solid this year for the most part. But that was a thriller they had with them, 34-27 in overtime. So Tennessee has really only had one quality, if you want to call it that, opponent this year. Are they as good as they look? Are they really the number 11 team in the country? I don't know. I guess this is going to be a pretty telling game, I think, for the Vols and for Tennessee fans. So who you got in this one, man? I think this is closer than they're booking it.
Yeah, 10-point spread is ridiculous. I know they're at Neyland, and I know this Tennessee hasn't beaten Florida in a long time. Like they went a long time without beating them. They beat them once, and I beat them. So Tennessee always struggles with Florida. Much to the chagrin of Vols fans. Florida looked good week 1 against Utah.
They did.
At the time was number 17, and Anthony Richardson was doing crazy. I don't know if there's a way you could play it without us getting copyright strikes. There is. I need you to look up
the one play where he bounced off the guy and threw a touchdown.
No. That play where he spun the guy and he on the 2-point conversion where he jumped and spun and then threw the ball. That reminds me of the opening sequence to NFL Street Volume 3. There's a little animation where he's dribbling the ball and he does that Sam. It reminded me of that so much.
Yeah, look at that. Just the spin move and just throws it to a guy standing perfectly still.
Yeah.
It's hard to do a little bootleg and then just extra spin move.
Yeah.
It was pretty as hell.
It was great.
To your point, yeah.
But also, Florida lost to Kentucky and they struggled with South Florida last week. South Florida hung around with Florida.
Yeah, that's another thing. If you're a Florida fan, it's so concerning to be that close down the wire with South Florida.
Yeah.
But then to play a great Kentucky team as close as they almost feel like they're a team that sort of plays to the level of whoever they're playing against, right? Look how good they were against Utah. Look how good they were against Kentucky, who, as we know, Kentucky's pretty damn good. Kentucky looks fantastic this year. They're playing a very good defensive game. I think no matter what happens, this is going to be a close game. I don't think there's any world where Tennessee runs away with it.
Give me the Vols, though. They're at home. This is probably game day's there. This is probably the CBS game.
It is.
Game day. Yeah, game day's there. It's a CBS game. This is where you want to see. That's the time slot you want to be in if you're an SEC fan. I think Neyland's just going to be rocking, and they're probably going to checkerboard the stadium like they do. And I think Tennessee gets it. But like I said, close. Like you said, close. Let's hope Florida doesn't have a Hail Mary Tennessee like they did with Felipe Franks a few years ago.
Yeah, I think, and I may end up regretting this. I think I'm taking Florida here. And I think the reason I'm doing that is because, again, this is a team that if this is the type of team that struggled the way they did against South Florida, they shouldn't have been as good as they were against Utah. It shouldn't have been as close of a game as it was to Kentucky. I think this is one of those teams that sort of plays to the level of who they're playing against. I think they'll be ready. This is a big challenge for them. They're on the road. They know the eyes are there. I think they're going to be prepared. I think that they're going to have a good game plan going into it. I do think that Tennessee will probably, based on their talent, is going to win this game 7 or 8 times out of 10. I just think Florida has something here. I think this is going to be a big statement win. I think we're going to see Anthony Richardson from week 1. I think he'll be locked in. Give me the Gators, but man, I hope I'm not wrong.
I
got to take a risk sometime.
Florida this year is like the Houston Astros every year. Play to their level of competition.
Yes.
Beat the pants off the Yankees. Win the series, sweep the Yankees. And then you go to Oakland and play the Athletics.
Some teams are like that, they're talented enough to win, but they just they're asleep at the wheel for it's a lack of focus. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the vibe I get from this Florida team. They had the big heads after Utah, and then sort of remembered, oh yeah, we have to keep playing football, right?
That's like Kentucky.
Exactly, and Kentucky is not a joke this year. Iowa State, Baylor. Baylor is going to visit the Cyclones, who are quietly 3-0, who have quietly beat Iowa in a very boring game. But you look at both of these teams, and the only quality win again. This is still so early in the year. The only sort of big time wins they've had. Baylor had the big win over BYU, and then Iowa State had the big win over the Hawkeyes. So this is one of those things. I think it's kind of very difficult to figure out what's going to happen. One of those 50-50 games. The ESPN Power Index has them basically 50-50 as far as their percentages goes, a chance of winning. Iowa State is a 2.5-point favorite. They are at Iowa, which means if they were in Waco, this would probably go the other way, about a field goal of a favorite towards the Bears. This is as big a coin flip as you're going to find this weekend. What are you doing with it, man?
Yeah, literally flip a coin. Baylor's highly ranked. Dave Aranda's got them boys looking good. But Matt Campbell's got Iowa State. They've been looking good for the past few years. They don't have Brock Purdy and Breece Hall anymore, but they're still playing good football up there.
They are.
Give it to Cyclones. They're at home. Just simply flip they're in Ames. Give me the Cyclones.
Yeah, I mean, this, like I say, this is, and what I find interesting about both these teams, Baylor is on defense averaging 14 points allowed per game right now. Iowa State averaging 9 points. This is going to be an oddly defensive game. We're talking this is going to be like a 16-13, 14-17, something stupidly low scoring. It's going to come down to turnovers. It's going to come down to who can make a last-minute field goal. I'm taking the Bears here. I think they have more talent. I think that Shapen is a lot more secure at the ball. They got to figure a couple things out. Obviously, the loss to BYU was tough, but give me the Bears in a close one.
My dog just barked. I apologize.
It's all right. So let me record these real quick. I'm gonna go with Baylor, and then you go on with Iowa State.
Brian says YouTube is being whack again, but Ducks will beat the Cougars and Beavs will beat UFC. They'll be 3-0 back home at the stadium after renovations. Reeser will be ridiculous.
Some of your comments not going through, Ryan? YouTube's being whack.
Yeah. But yeah. I don't know if there's a game I want to talk about. I don't know if it's on your list, but I think it's interesting because it's a game. It's a game we've talked about. This is our 4th year show. And we've talked about it every year. I don't know if it's this or not. And we don't have to add it for points, but I want to talk about it.
Well, what is it? Maybe I haven't.
Kansas State and Oklahoma.
I almost put that on, but Kansas State has already lost, I think, like 2 games.
They lost to Tulane. So,
that's right. They lost to Tulane. Yeah.
They lost to Tulane. A couple years ago, I made the whole K-statement joke with my Kansas State shirt. I
do remember that. That was an iconic moment.
Yeah, but our audio messed up that show, remember?
Mm-hmm. I do.
But anyway, we, it was like Kansas State gonna get them again. They've got them 2 out of the last 3 top 5 teams. No, they're not. Kansas State just lost to Tulane, and Oklahoma's really good.
The real question is Tulane the truth?
Tulane's undefeated too.
Because, Kansas State beat the brakes off of Mizzou. So take that for what it's worth. Now, I almost put this game on our list, but who are you picking in this one? The Sooners, right? I assume. Yeah. Same. That's what I would have done as well. Especially if they're going to be
all day.
If they're going to be in Norman, yeah, for sure. So, all right. Next, we got Wake Forest, Wake Forest, Wake Forest and Clemson. Wake Forest is where you go to if you're about to get married and you want to really add some floral arrangements.
Brian says hashtag Tulane truthers.
Tulane, dude, I feel like you should have to.
Tulane, you should join. You should go back to the SEC.
Tulane should go to the SEC.
Because how dope would it be to go to SEC games in the city of New Orleans?
They could.
You get to watch Tulane and LSU in the city of New Orleans.
Tulane,
you can watch Tulane in Alabama.
Would fit right in. I feel like Tulane can maybe beat Auburn this year. Tulane can maybe beat Vanderbilt this year.
Was it last year or 2 years ago when they almost beat Oklahoma in Norman when the game was supposed to be in New Orleans? Had the game been in New Orleans, I guarantee you Tulane wins.
They would have grown the SEC logo mid-game and pulled that game out. But, number 5, Clemson going to visit Wake Forest. They are going to be, again, in Truist Field. It is going to be at Wake Forest. Still, obviously, Clemson is the favorite here, but these are undefeated teams. And if you look at the schedule, neither team has really played anybody that is super telling. This is going to be the first time I think we're going to get to see really what these teams are like. Wake Forest, who knows? Clemson, we think we know they're number 5, but do we really?
They're not number 5.
If you look at their schedule, though, this is kind of the game that you circle and go, okay, you got to win this. You got to win this, and then you got to win. Who else do they play down the line? I was looking at this earlier. I think it was
you got to beat NC State.
You got to be that. Yes. You got to be.
And Syracuse.
Well, yeah, and Syracuse now. I mean, I don't know.
You got to beat NC State. You got to beat UNC, NC State, and Syracuse.
Yes.
So, like.
And Notre Dame,
maybe
too.
Miami.
Maybe Notre Dame, but we've seen Notre Dame has been extremely lackluster this year, so.
Yeah, Will says, yo, dig the Blockbuster shirt. I like that shirt.
All right, thanks, man. I try to live in the past a little bit with that Blockbuster stuff. Good times.
Rocking the
Columbia.
Rocking the Columbia.
Love to see it.
Yeah. Where's this game at?
It'll be at Wake Forest, so it'll be, where is Wake Forest? It'll be Winston-Salem.
Winston-Salem, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not a believer in Clemson. I think DJ Uiagalelei is not what people think he is. Here, let me tell you what's going to happen in this game, Daryl. It's going to be in Winston-Salem. Winston-Salem's probably going to pull out. Sam Hartman, the quarterback for Wake Forest, is back, and he's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Clemson has been the team to beat in the ACC these past several years. Clemson's always good for an upset. Somebody always gets them. Somehow, whether it's Pitt or NC State or Miami or UNC, somebody always gets them. This is the week somebody gets them because I don't think they're the number 5 team in the country. What's going to happen is DJ Uiagalelei is going to come out and he's going to suck it a quarter and a half.
Okay.
And he's going to get benched for Cade Klubnik, but Wake Forest is going to be foot on the gas the whole time, scoring points like a mofo.
Man.
Give me the Demon Deacons.
Oh.
And their mascot is the Demon Deacons.
Well, of course. Like, well, I mean, that's a
Wake Forest, buddy. Come on.
All right.
Yeah, I'm just not a believer in Clemson this year. I do think Cade Klubnik will be starting.
Mm-hmm.
He will be starting before the year is out, but I think this is where we find out why he's, because Clemson's going to be playing a real football team, which is weird to be saying about Wake Forest, but Wake Forest is good.
Well, Wake does look very good this year. I'm taking Clemson here. It will be close, to your credit. It will absolutely be close. Uiagalelei's been fine. I wouldn't say he's been tremendous. He's got 5 touchdowns through 3 games now. So I mean, again, nothing incredible. But I think the difference though is Will Shipley. The run game for Clemson right now is very, very good. Their offensive line looks
Will
good.
Shipley. I like that. I like that running back.
Will Shipley has looked fantastic. I think, and that's the thing about it is it Uiagalelei? Is that how you say it?
DJ Uiagalelei, something like that.
I'm just gonna say DJ.
Brian Kelly said
Brian Kelly? We got Brian Kelly in the chat.
Brian says the Divine Diablo Demon Deacons. I love it.
Dude, I'm telling you. Oh, that actually does go really well together. But yeah, man, I think the Tigers look good here. I think that it will be a close game. I think we're gonna find out a lot. But to your point about DJ, I think that he's good, but I don't think he has to be great when their run game is that good, right? Like there's so much that's open up in the play action. There's so much that's opened up on the deep end. I think that he really has a chance to stretch the field. I think with some of these wide receivers, if you have to respect Will Shipley the entire time. I like Clemson here, but yeah, I'm with you. I hope Wake Forest wins because hell of a Clemson. I can't stand that place. So, but give me the Tigers, unfortunately. But it should be fun, especially considering it's going to be at Wake Forest. And then what did I say? Clemson. We got some good little picks in here, man. Texas A&M going to Dallas. Arkansas going to Dallas in Jerry World. Finally, Arkansas gets the win in that series since the first time since A&M joined the SEC in the Southwest Classic. Finally won it last year in a very mid-performance by Zach Calzada and the Texas A&M offensive line. But Sam Pittman knows what he's doing. However, things might be different this year. Both teams having strangely specific struggles. Should be fun, man. What you got in this one?
Yeah.
A&M is
Classic.
I think the Hogs are 2-point dogs. So it is, again, another pretty 50-50 game. No one really knows what's going to happen.
A&M is favored.
By 2 points, yeah, according to Vegas.
That shocks me a little bit.
Yeah, same, just a little bit.
Yeah, Arkansas last year getting the first win in this series since A&M joined the SEC. Arkansas ran the Texas gauntlet last year. They A&M and UT last year. But yeah, obviously we both cheer for the Aggies, but we've also been very vocal about the fact that we also like Arkansas. Probably, you know.
And I like Sam Pittman. Every time I've seen Sam Pittman be interviewed, I mean, he's just a class act. Like, he's very patient. He kind of talks slow. They ask him a question and say, "Well, you know, we really have to respect that A chain. He's very, very good. We're going to be very aware of him at all times because he's such." I like this man. Sam Pittman's really cool. I think he's the perfect fit for that program. So yeah, I wish nothing but the best. Except for this weekend, I wish them nothing but the best.
This is like
you're torn. I can tell.
I don't know who to say in this game because like Arkansas is good. They were good last year. They're good this year. A&M, A&M was look like, you know, you get top, first, best class in the country. You get all this talent. But, you know, been struggling. But they figured it out at quarterback. Max Johnson, he should have been the starter the whole time, Jimbo. Anyway.
I agree, but I also feel that this is, although it is, you could say it's a rivalry game, but it always feels like a rivalry game. And I say that because
it's always neutral site.
It's always neutral site, and much like the old adage of like for a rivalry game, throw out the stat books and everything else because you don't know what's going to happen. That's how this game feels every year. Even when A&M has soundly been the better team, it always somehow comes down to the wire.
Going to like 3 overtimes like 2 years ago.
The only exception was the year they had Trevor Knight and they ran all over him. But other than that year, even in the Jimbo years, it's always like some sort of 24 to 17, 31 to 30 bullshit like that. It's always so close. It comes down to a turnover in overtime, something ridiculous. So these teams just know how to put on a good show. But yeah, it's so hard to predict this one.
Yeah. This is kind of like a coin flip for me. I think I'm gonna go with A&M. Go with the A.
Okay.
Simply because they remember what happened last year. Mm-hmm. Some of these kids were here. They probably left a sour taste in their mouth, and I think they're gonna be ready. You know, it's neutral site, but it's in the state of Texas. But it's also, you know, it's like neutral site, but Jerry Jones went to Arkansas. It's like all these factors. This is always a good game. But yeah, give me the Aggies. Close, tight. This game's gonna be.
Yeah. You know, this is one that I think a lot of people are kind of scratching their heads at, especially considering the A&M offense just has like no identity right now. Obviously, they're better last week against Miami. The defense has been playing phenomenal. The defense is averaging, and again, this is against number 13 Miami last week, who has been phenomenal offensively. But right now in their last couple games, and again, it's still early, but averaging 8 points, 8.7 points allowed per game. Defensively, they've been phenomenal. Obviously, we saw Arkansas struggle last week against whoever it was. It was Montana State or somebody. I think it was Missouri State.
State.
Right, and really made it very close. Like, there was a point in that game where you thought, oh no, the Hogs are going to blow it against this nobody, right? So you look at that, and here's another stat that's interesting. You'll find this fascinating. Arkansas right now is the leading sack group. Their defense is. They have the most sacks of any school in the nation right now. They are leading the nation in sacks, but they are last in offensive passing yards allowed. So they are stacked up front, bumper pool. Them boys know how to stop the run. They know how to get to the quarterback, but they're leaving guys.
Corners and safeties are burnt toast.
They are leaving guys wide open. So it's going to be interesting because that's been A&M's struggle all year, is that they haven't been able to pass the ball very effectively. Some of that's been Max Johnson. Some of that's been the quarterback play from Haynes King. Some of it could be just the fact that maybe the running game didn't get off early. But I think that's really going to be a thing to watch. If A&M can run the ball, and the backers have to respect that. If Bumper Pool is crashing down every single time, I think that's going to open up a lot of things down the field. So I think that because of that, because they won't be able to run the ball, because this is such a dominant defensive front, because A&M's O-line is a little bit sus right now, I got to give the edge to the Hogs. Now, I hope A&M wins, obviously. I'm taking the Hogs in this one. It's a very close one. But again, you never know what the hell is going to happen here. I'm protecting my soul. I'm picking the Hogs to win. But this could go either way. And it's going to come down to, like, can Max Johnson get the ball out quick on some little under routes? Can we run the ball around the edges, things like that? So give me the Hogs. But, man, I really, really, really think it's possible A&M can win this. They're more talented.
I feel that.
And they're bigger in a lot of phases. But let me get right down your pick. And then So cool. Kansas and Duke.
I'm so glad this game was on the list.
We had to do it, man. Kansas, they got shafted by game day, so we had to make sure.
Basketball powers, undefeated in football. This is the first time Kansas is 3-0 since 2009.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that was 2 years removed from their miraculous run in 2007. So, like, this coach, something Leopold, has got these boys looking good. I don't know literally anything about this.
This is a toss for us. I have no clue who's who. Kansas is at home, and they are the 7-point favorites.
I know for a fact Lawrence is sold out. Their stadium has been sold out. I don't know anything about Duke. I don't know who they've played. Who has Duke played? I know they're 3-0.
Duke has played. Oh, Duke did beat Northwestern 31-23. They shut out Temple 30-0, and it was
bunch of smart kids in that game.
North Carolina.
A&T
Aggies, so they beat them, and then of course Kansas, admittedly a more impressive record, right? Overtime win versus West Virginia. They beat Houston. Interesting.
Yeah.
So Kansas looks
Very
good.
Interesting.
I think you got to take Kansas here, man.
Yeah, I'm going with the Rock Chalk Jayhawk, which is weird because I might show up in a Kansas t-shirt next week, and I have a Kansas State shirt hanging in my closet.
How often can you look at the Kansas team in football season playing against a Power 5 team and be favored by a full touchdown?
That's crazy.
Are we both riding with the Jayhawks here?
Crazy. Yeah, Rock Chalk Jayhawk, baby. Let's go.
Let's fucking go.
I mean, shout out to Duke for being really good for the first time since like 2015 when they played A&M in that bowl game.
That was crazy. That was Johnny's last game. That was a crazy time.
Crazy game. Yeah, shout out to Duke for being 3-0, but y'all about to beat 3 because Kansas is going to beat y'all. Also, if Kansas wins this week, put it in the top 25, you coward.
Hell yeah. Oh, I totally. If they win this week, they have to do it. I mean, they're 4-0. They're looking good in all these games. Jalen Daniels was real quick. Bambi says, I'm going Arkansas. Brian says, Arkansas is whack. I have to lift Arkansas boxes at the top. Belt at work. Yeah, Arkansas is whack, man. I really hope that they lose that game. What were you going to say, Spencer?
What shot does Vanderbilt have this weekend against Alabama?
Whoo! Let me tell you something. Not zero. But pretty fucking close.
Yeah. About as yeah.
Hey, listen, man. If
But wouldn't it be like the greatest shit in the world if Vanderbilt? Because Vanderbilt's 3-1. Their only loss is to Wake Forest. And Wake Forest is really good.
Well, listen, man. If Bryce Young walks out there with fucking explosive diarrhea, I wouldn't put it past the Commodores to.
They're not. Vanderbilt's not winning this game at all. But if Vanderbilt plays the way they did against a couple of the teams they've beaten, and Alabama plays the way they did against Texas, you might look up and Vanderbilt might have the lead. So
listen, man.
Yeah, Vanderbilt's not winning. There's no shot.
Stranger things have happened, but man, could you imagine what it would do for that program?
It's going to happen one year. Vanderbilt's going to get a coach that they really like, and they're going to get a couple of recruits. And then somebody's going to be ranked, and they're going to roll into Nashville and get the pants slapped. They're
gonna. Hey, listen, man. One day Vanderbilt's going to make a phone call, and you're gonna hear just a door be kicked in. You're going to see it's going to be Les Miles. You're going to walk in there and be like, "Boys, we're winning again."
I don't even know what Vanderbilt's grass tastes like. Please let that happen.
I've been doing the Mike McCarthy. I've been sitting in my closet watching film for the past 10 years. I'm ready to come out here and teach you boys how to play football, and then quietly
Can Mike McCarthy
go 4-7.
please get fired after this season?
I don't want to talk about it. Let's go, baby. We got the Battle of the Iron Skillet. TCU 2-0. Horned Frogs going to visit the Mustangs of SMU 2-1. It will be at TCU this year. Excuse me. It will be at SMU this year. It'll be in Dallas. It will be in Gerald J. Ford Stadium, which is a beautiful little field, by the way. Who you got, man? Who's taking home the Skillet this year?
Brian says Kansas versus Duke. Is this March Madness? Yes.
It is. It is March Madness. We've been on the wrong screen the whole time. Anyways, go ahead.
We don't.
Not
anyway,
that long. It's fine.
TCU, don't really know much about them. But SMU for the past few years, they've been good. They still have Tanner Mordecai. Still there.
They do.
He's
already
crazy.
In 3 games. He's already thrown for 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Max
Who's
Duggan.
the coach? It's not Sonny Dykes anymore because he's the coach at TCU now.
I have no clue. I don't follow him close enough.
Yeah. A couple years ago, we were like SMU is going to win this game. And
SMU
they did,
is hot. Yeah.
They had the skill. I think they've won it 2 years in a row.
I think they have. Yeah, I know they won last year. I can't remember if they won the year before that, but they did win last year.
I think they did win the year before that because that was when they had what's his name?
Mm-hmm.
Who was their quarterback? I don't remember.
Dykes is their coach, though, according to this.
Who?
Dykes is their coach, though, according to this.
Sonny Dykes is the coach at TCU, right?
Yeah.
Because he used to be at SMU.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess that's true. Now that I'm reading this right. So, Dykes left SMU, went to TCU. So, he kind of did. That's been happening a lot to TCU head coaches. That happened in baseball. TCU's head coach in baseball went to A&M, and then they went to the College World Series and got like 2-3 games deep. So, I don't know, man. TCU.
Brian says, let's just say as a Duck fan, I have a reason to hate TCU. Yeah, you do. I would have been heartbroken if I was a Duck fan after that game. Yeah, I think I'm going to go red and blue in this. Give me the Mustangs.
Okay.
They're at home, sold out. They've been winning. I don't know nothing. I know they still have Max Duck. I feel like he's been there for a grip. But yeah, give me the Mustangs.
Okay.
Because I like the cheer they do when they win games.
Yeah, I think Tanner Mordecai is looking fantastic. I think that they're running the ball very well as well.
Something about a quarterback wearing number 8 just looks good.
Yeah, I think they, it's a close loss, obviously, last week to Maryland. But, I mean, you look at TCU's wins right now. They beat Tarleton. They beat Colorado. We really don't know much about this TCU team.
Colorado has 0 wins. They are a goose egg.
Colorado is 0-3, man.
And Tarleton is like a Division II team. So
Exactly. So, really tough to say. You could call them unproven. SMU did go toe-to-toe with what I think is a pretty good Maryland team last week.
They're going to Ann Arbor this week, play number 4, Michigan. That game might be.
Hey, circle that one. All right, we should have picked it this week, but I think Michigan will win that game. But look, things can happen. I'm just saying, if you look up at halftime and on
the back of your jersey, you're probably good.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, give me the Mustangs as well. I like SMU here. I think they have a lot of firepower. Tanner Mordecai has been pretty sensational as well. TCU. Again, there's not enough there for me to say, yeah, they're definitely going to win. Although they are favored, technically, Vegas does like them, but I think it's just because of the loss last week to Maryland. Give me SMU. I think they've seen more game time. I think they've seen more big game situations already. Give me the Mustangs in this one, and what should be a fun one. It's an 11 a.m. kickoff. This would be a good one to watch. Be a lot of fun. A lot of offense, I think.
Yeah.
Both teams are averaging 40-plus points per game right now, so...
Let's what we didn't talk about was the fact that freaking Washington beat the pants off of Michigan State, bro.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about that because we don't really mess with that part of the country that much. But yeah, that was crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Of course, I never have faith in a ranked Michigan State team, so.
Never. But then they'll beat somebody that's good. Like they'll beat Ohio State or they'll beat Michigan State. Not Michigan. They are Michigan State. They'll beat Michigan. Mm-hmm. And you're just like, what? Another one we didn't talk about was
Texas and Texas Tech. There's gonna be a fight in that game. I think Texas will win, but there's gonna be a fight in that game. It's gonna get ugly at some point.
Classic Big 12 type shit. Throw it all over the yard. Playing in Lubbock. That's sometimes a tough place to play.
Is Quinn Ewers back yet?
He's suiting up this week.
Is he playing? Let me look it up. Is that you say he's one day
traveling
ago?
And he's suiting up this week. So
back in uniform. Yeah. So he will be. He'll be there. He'll be suiting up.
Mm-hmm. So
man, I don't know, man. Do you think they would have beat Bama if he had stayed in?
Yes.
I think so, huh?
Shades of 2009 with Colt McCoy.
History has a funny way of repeating itself, doesn't it?
It does.
Hey, Spencer.
I have some uniform.
I have a uniform too.
Oh, well.
I just scrolled past it on Twitter and I thought it was worth sharing. So I'll go ahead and show everybody. If it is one of yours, then just take credit. But here we go. This is Purdue. And
yeah, there were some like cool throwback helmets. I saw these.
They are. So these.
It wasn't one of the ones I was going to show you. But.
Well, perfect. We got another one. So yeah, this is really, really nice. This is very throwbacky, and they have this really creepy trailer where the the mascot tries to put the helmet on. But the helmet's really, really cool because it has the old school retro logo on there of their mascot. Look at that. It's just kind of cool. You know, like it's just very subtle. It's literally just sort of the gold sticker of their old mascot. But I like that
Also,
vibe.
can we talk about a thing I've been seeing they've been doing
What's that?
with the gloves? Is the name of the team is right here on the
Yeah, I've seen that.
on the Nike schools. It'll have it'll have whatever design team is right here on the pinky, and I love it.
I guess the mentality is like when you catch the ball, you know, like you're gonna see it right there on the pinky. I assume that is the mentality that they're going for.
It's like that whole thing they were talking about. Texas Tech's equipment team was like, it was like 5, 50, and 100-yard view. Like there's certain stuff on a uniform you're gonna see 5 yards away, 50 and 100 yards away. It's a cool little thing they talked about. But the ones I want to show you there on Twitter.
Brian says both Oregon and Washington teams are monsters this year. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's gonna be a lot of fun to watch them this weekend. Who is it? Sorry, go ahead.
San Jose State. Shout out to that dude that used to play at A&M that transferred there. They're wearing some black uniforms with like a cool writing, with like a blue outline.
Let's see.
And then the Spartans. So.
Yeah, this looks correct. San Jose State City Night uniform. Okay, let's see what we got here. Ooh. No, I don't want your ad. Okay, here we go. That's nice. Oh, yeah. Look at that font, too.
I like these a lot.
I like that. Hey, by the way, real quick, we need to talk about Florida State. How do they keep winning?
I have no clue.
And they just signed like one of the best wide receivers in the country for 2023. I don't know what they're doing over there. I don't know what Mike Norvell has cooking, but man, he has them boys winning games, Spencer, with backup quarterbacks that are like not even as big as I am. Like this dude, I don't know if you saw the backup quarterback, like the third string quarterback, I'm pretty sure for them last week, and was just slinging it, man. It was incredible. I don't know how they were doing it, but I will say
out there looking like pipe cleaners throwing the balls.
Hey, they had a stick man out there throwing, just absolutely putting it like in only where his guy can get it. I was so impressed with.
Look at the laces on that football. That dude from. I've seen that. There's like some of the freaking Brian says in the uniform is H&H merch. It'll be here one.
Oh yeah.
We need to get. It'll be here one day. But yeah, that football that he's holding had blue laces. I've seen some that. I think it was Michigan or somebody wearing yellow.
Oh, it does.
Yellow laces on it. It looks really good.
Yeah, no, it does have blue laces. I didn't realize that, but that's nice.
Yeah, those San Jose State uniforms are
love it.
Really not.
I want to watch this game just so I can watch that.
Spartans looking good.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Spartans, when we get off of here, I'm gonna go back to start marking fools on Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Oh, you've been playing it, huh? It's pretty fun.
Yeah, the game is great. Game is a treat. Yeah, you got a song you want to listen to, Daryl?
I do, actually. I was listening to it earlier. Hang on a second. Yeah, I have a really, really good one. Where'd it go? Wait, I put it over here. No. You have a game while I look this up?
I do.
I can't remember the name of it.
You should.
So there's all this dead air.
It doesn't really have anything to do with football or getting pumped up about watching football. You should just go listen to Shoulder by Young Dro and T.I. Just because I was listening to that song earlier. Some of the lines that Young Dro says in that 2007, 2008 era, he's ahead of his time.
Hell yeah. Here we go. This is it. This is called, I don't know. How do I, there's two different ones actually. Which one I wanted to say this week? I like this song. It's called Hell's Coming With Me by Poor Man's Prison. Poor
Man's Poison. I love that song.
The shit slaps, man. You hear it at first, like the first portion of the first portion of the song is like, oh, we're kind of like old
and
western.
And then that guitar kicks in.
And it just fucking, it just goes. You're like, oh, let me strap in real quick. Damn, I didn't realize this was gonna be
when he's like kind of singing and then that guitar riff hits.
Yeah,
it reminds me of that scene in The Road to El Dorado when he pulls out the
Yeah. No, it's a great song, man.
Ducks are wearing the uniforms aboard when they beat Ohio State. Yeah, that all white look.
Oh, Brian, don't say that to me now. Don't say that to me now.
Yeah.
But then
Hell's
again,
Coming With Me by Poor Man's Poison.
Yeah.
That song is
really
good.
The Ducks are gonna look good this weekend. They'll take care of business. I kind of hope Oregon State pulls it out too, man. I think USC is gonna have a little bit more firepower, but man, don't put it past Oregon State. This is a game
Will says, "Why did San Jose State take that photo in a laser tag?"
It did look like a laser tag venue, didn't it? It really did.
Well, the first game of the year when West Virginia was playing Pitt in the backyard brawl, they were taking them on a highway, and they had to like wrap the guy in blanket so you couldn't see the uniforms, and because they didn't want to like get out there.
Yeah. I think my favorite part
of ruining a 5-year-old's birthday party.
The backyard brawl was so awesome, man. I love that rivalry because whenever they're doing the Sweet Caroline, I love the fight. All the West Virginia fans are like, "Eat shit, Pitt." I love it. It's so good.
That's great.
I'm rooting against the Bees, but they'll win. Dude, I don't know, man. It's a winnable game, but
it's a trap game for USC, bro.
Yep. We'll see. We'll find out.
But yeah, one of my favorite. Have you ever listened to?
Wait, say that again. You cut out.
Have you ever listened to the Alabama fans when they land a light?
I haven't actually.
Oh, it's great. You should listen to it. They're like, spend my dollar on beer. It's the best. It's something like, and they get to the end of it, and they're like, screw Auburn, something Tennessee too. It's the best. I love it, dude. It's so funny.
I love that. It makes it so special. Well, guys,
one of those I don't like is like I like it when the band plays it, but I don't like the chant when LSU's band plays Neck. I don't like the crowd chant. I never have.
I like it. I always have. Oh, you mean the suck tiger dick or whatever they say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care for it, but maybe that sounds prudish of me, but like.
Yeah, they said that at the A&M game one time. Whenever I was there, I had like this. There was LSU fans right behind me, and they were saying that shit. I was like, man, go fuck it, because we hadn't beat them at that point. You know, we hadn't actually beat LSU since joining. But at that point, we would later, obviously, we all know that goes. But yeah, man,
that was the last game Joe Burrow lost in college.
Hey, and it was 7 overtimes, baby. That was a special night. It was such a good day. It was a hell of a
Somebody went 7 overtimes the other week, like a week or two ago.
Yeah.
Some two scrubs. I don't know who they were, but they went to like 7 overtimes.
Just different now because of this tennis.
Also, if you haven't, go follow the Sickos Committee on YouTube. They talk about obscure, weird college football shit.
Hey, man, if you could take a bet that A&M and Arkansas would go to overtime this weekend, would you take it?
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
How much would you bet? Like, if you triple your winnings or triple your losses?
I bet like $100.
Would you really? They would get that overtime?
I'm not a gambling man, but I bet like $100.
Well, folks, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a hell of a show.
But if you want to predict a game to go to overtime, Arkansas.
Yeah, absolutely.
Didn't we talk about some stat like 2 years ago? It's like don't go to overtime with Arkansas because they'll beat you.
Unless it's A&M.
Like they're like, unless it's A&M.
I think in the 9 years since A&M has joined the SEC, the A&M Arkansas game has gone to like 4 overtimes. It's almost 50% of the games they've gone to overtime.
And A&M's
it's absurd. It's absurd.
Also, with the exception of last year, A&M does very well. So
it's true. That's true. Well, my friends, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a hell of a show. I'm looking forward to some good football this weekend. We'll be back next week. I don't know what to say except for fucking let the good times roll. Broncos country.
It's been a great season so far.
Let's ride.
Broncos country, let's ride. It's been a great season so far, and I think there's gonna be some good games tomorrow.
Love to see it, man. Hey, good luck on your picks, man. I hope you knock it out of the park this week. I'm ready for you to rebound and get shit more even. So, all right, everybody, like the video, share the video, subscribe, do all the good things. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you for joining us, Brian, Will, Bambi, anyone else that was here that I might have missed. Thank you guys so much. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you next week, and yeah, bye, everybody.
Yes, sir.